Hi, my name's Teresa, and you're listening to Between Two Wheels. I'm going to tell you, I'm very tired. Very tired. Today I had an MRI, so I'm going to tell you just a little bit about, look what they put on me. They put this on me today. It's funny. I am a fall risk. Kind of cracks me up. Why can't I do this? Everything's all backwards. What the heck? Fall risk. So I had that sporting on my arm today, so that's kind of funny. I'm a fall risk. Um, yeah, I guess I am a fall risk. Um, so let me tell you about an MRI. MRIs are probably the number one uh, true diagnosis of when you're first going through all the symptoms and tests for MS. Okay, I'm also going to tell you I have some cognizant problems today and memory, and I'm just really, really fatigued. And I just want to keep this real. And as much as I kind of don't like coming off this way, it's just me being me, and that's I need I need to do that for myself and maybe for some other people. I could come on here and try and like I always say, woman up and be all woohoo, woohoo, but sometimes not. That's not the reality of MS, and I want to I want to show the true the true reality of it. So anyway, with that being said, I'm still happy. I'm still happy. I'm still happy. The MRI, yeah. So I had an MRI like 16 years ago, and that things have really changed a lot since then because then I had like an MRI and a spinal tap and just all kinds of tests. But I'll get into that when I tell my whole story, which I'm going to. People that are emailing me to that they want to know like when I was my first symptoms and then what I went through and then while I was being diagnosed and since that, I promise you I'm going to do that. I think that's important. It maybe will give some insight to people that don't know about MS and for some people that are scared and suffering out there not knowing what's going on with them. They might, think they're crazy with these symptoms that they have and it's scary. But yeah, I want to do that. And I need to do it for me because I've really never told like my whole story or talked about it that much. Like I said, I really don't talk about it too much. So yeah, it's gonna serve, I think, uh, a lot of purpose. I don't know. It's just it is. So an MRI. I had an MRI today because, like I said, there's been stuff going on, and again, I am labeled. There's different categories of MS. We're all different, every one of us, and I'll get to that. As it used to be like when I first was diagnosed, it was called like chronic progressive MS. Um, well, we didn't know at the very beginning because when you're first diagnosed, you really don't know until maybe a couple of years and you see the course of it. If it's a relapsing and recovery where you have down times, you come back up, maybe not up to where you were baseline at, but so really at the beginning, and if the neurologist, well, I can't go with what just at the beginning, it's just labeled you have MS. And then I believe that you're categorized later. So, yeah, I was categorized a little later with what was called chronic progressive MS. And now I think it's called primary progressive MS, which means, and it's in my case, it's maybe 10-15% of MSers. Again, I'm kind of worst case. That's why when people are initially diagnosed, and with MS, and then they kind of see somebody like me in a wheelchair, because your thoughts do go when you're labeled with something with some kind of chronic disease. You're labeled like, oh my gosh, I'm going to end up in a wheelchair and it's just disabled and but that's not the case. You just don't know. Again, this disease is just so darn mysterious and varies from person to person. Um, okay, I don't want this to go long, so but yes, I am in that that 10-15% of MSers. So today's MRI was just to kind of check in to see what is going on with me, if there are any new lesions and in the brain, and what a lesion is. And again, it's just me talking. I keep it all really simple. The whole word multiple sclerosis, multiple meaning more than one, multiple sclerosis meaning scarring, that there's like scarring in the brain and stuff. I think, this is just how I explain it to myself. You can get online and find all the neurologist stuff and all that kind of stuff on there. But so yeah, so one of the tests that truly diagnoses somebody is to look at the brain scans and the MRIs and see that there are these like lesions, which are these little white like dots or a cluster of dots, or on your brain, in your central nervous system, or even your frontal lobe and your neck too. Your spinal cord back here is affected too. And wherever those little lesions are is determines your severity on different symptoms, as far as your numbness, your eyes. Eyesight's really affected a lot. That's kind of the first symptom. Sometimes people notice some wackiness going on with their eyes and they go to an optometrist, and then that leads to other things. Okay, I know I'm jumping all over the place here. So yeah, so we're seeing, from where my other MRI was at, and I haven't had an MRI in a while, to be honest. Like, and my neurologist and I are both cool with it. Like, I'm not one, I don't want nor need a lot of testing a lot. My course had kind of tapered off for a little bit and just been, I have little flare-ups every once in a while, but this last time, like a couple months ago and stuff, it's been kind of the worst, and that's why I'm going through all this and did the steroids and things. So that's what today's test was, to see, if there are any new lesions, what's going on with, and even if there aren't any new lesions, that's not necessarily, I don't know what I'm saying. But anyway, yeah, and I have and then there's like T1 and T2. I have like T1 dark spots, which when you have some of that kind of shows that you are in that just progressive state. And then halfway through, that was like the first, I was in there maybe 40 minutes, and then they pull me out of the MRI. They did my head and my neck, and then they shoot some dye into my veins, gadolinium or something like that, I think it is. And then they put me back in and did like maybe another 20 minutes or so. And yeah, and the whole process of going in there, getting out of my wheelchair, and then moving around and getting into that, I don't mind being in an MRI machine. I'm not claustrophobic. None of that stuff bothers me. I know it bothers some, and some people freak out with it, but I don't. But just the whole process of doing that was, again, out of my element, out of my comfort. And although I don't get really stressed about that, it's still my nerves. Still, it's affected. And then I got a little stiff, because my muscles then get stiff. So, but again, it was fun. The whole team over there, they were great. Everybody was great. She told me I was excellent at the end, and I asked her for a sticker, and she told me she didn't have a sticker. So, I don't know. But we had fun. Yeah, so my neurologist will get the results this week, and I go back to him. It's just been a switch up. I'm not used to all these. Although I have MS and I'm in this wheelchair, I really don't have a lot of always these appointments and all this stuff that's going on for the past 2.5 weeks. So again, I'm really, for whatever reasons, and I believe there is a reason here, that I chose to start these videos, these 30-day videos. When I did, I like it because, like I said, if I can, just help anybody or whatever, but I'm just kind of glad that I'm documenting this even for myself, that I can look back on this and just give awareness too, even to friends and family that have known me through this whole journey that kind of don't know what's going on, because I'm not one, like I said, I'm not one just to, talk about my stuff. It's just, again, I don't want to be labeled. I mean, I don't want to be kind of always identified as, me. I mean, I have so many different okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, and there's one thing I want to say about yesterday's video. Yesterday I was talking about, because I don't want to mislead anybody, I was referring to about my shower, when I'm in the shower, and I said something about when I transfer to get out of the shower, and I just said about I have to do baby steps, something that referring to like just do little tiny steps. That was like literal. I literally didn't mean like actual steps. I just meant I have to just be very careful because I'm not able to lift up my feet and even my legs, like at my knees, where I can't lift at all. It's like I'm pretty much like a paraplegic. I get paraplegic, quad pair. Like from my waist down, I'm not able to like do the one foot in front of the other. So I just didn't want anybody to think like that I could, not that it matters, but just that I'm not able to lift my feet up in the air, or even flex my ankles and bring my ankles up or anything. I can't do that. I'm able to stand. I have enough strength that I can stand straight, upright, stand up, and then do like a shimmy and kind of use my hips and my feet and kind of shimmy around. So, with a lot of practice and just a lot of practice and doing it and getting a routine, that's how I kind of have to shimmy around with my bathroom and stuff. And also, I didn't mention yesterday about, I was talking about my bathroom is fully handicapped. Like I also have a raised sink, and, so my wheelchair can kind of come up underneath my sink, and because most sinks are at a lower level and then they have a vanity underneath. Mine's open underneath. And again, I'm blessed with great parents, great environment, that all that is, and that's essential, just. And okay, so one more thing. I'm exhausted, yes, but tonight I have my local MS support group meeting. It's every month, and I really encourage anybody who is either not diagnosed but thinks they have something going on, newly diagnosed, or has been around, diagnosed for a long time. Just the importance of a communal environment where you can get some support, maybe learn something new. Like I said, I've been around here for 16 years and I'm still learning new, different things all the time. And just kind of maybe being there for somebody, because, there's nothing worse than having any kind of disease, but I'm going to stick with MS, and just the fear and kind of isolation that you might go through, and feeling like, you're the only one, or it can be scary. it can be scary, it can be lonely, it can be, frustrating. You can get angry, but when you find a support group and people that have some, uh, resources and just maybe some advice, maybe you can be there for some advice to give to somebody. It's a really awesome thing. And even go to National MS Society, I guess, online, and look in your local area for some support. It's like a 12-step program for MS, and I'm fortunate enough that I have one that's, it's a safe, uh, really good vibe kind of environment. You know what goes on there and what's said there stays there. And because there are a lot of people too that are afraid to come out in their workplace or their just social environment, where they're going to be labeled or have that stigma of, having this disease. But, please don't feel that way. It's because that adds a lot of additional stress and fear, and MS just feeds on that stuff too. So I encourage you to get involved and reach out to somebody, or um, so yeah, I really encourage that. So sorry I was kind of all over the place there, uh, and that's about it. So again, thank you for all the love and support. Can I do peace sign? Let's do this just to check in. Like I said, and I'm a tough poke, so they had to do the gadolinium in like both arms, and then it didn't work. But we all had fun and laughed, and they played some music for me piped it through the headphones, and halfway through they asked me something, and I said, "Can you turn it off?" Because I was so fearful that the news was going to come on, and I'm so like, I filter everything in my life, and I'm so like like I don't want to know anything bad or anything that's going on in the world. So I was like, um, and the music wasn't what I really like anyway. So I don't know what it was, something. But anyway, I'm just blah, blah, blah now. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow. Bye.